My name is Jimmy Purdy, shop owner, master tech, transmission builder, and the host of the Gearbox Podcast. Here I talk with new and seasoned shop owners, as well as industry professionals about day-to-day operations within their own shops and all the failures and successes that come along the way. From what grinds your gears to having to shift gears in the automotive industry, this is the Gearbox Podcast. Well, cool, man. Thanks for hooking up.
Yeah, I don't think your camera's on.
Oh, hey, my bad. That probably helps, huh? There we go.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah, I had it off. Yeah, thanks for coming in, man.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we'll start with the intro. I'll let you take the lead on that.
My name's Wain Hickman. I own Wain's Transmission Service in Spokane, Washington. I've been doing transmissions for the past 25 years, and it's just what I do, and I'm a transmission guy, I guess.
It's tough, man. That's a tough gig. I've been slowly moving out of the actual building, but you still do building day to day.
Uh-huh.
You're still the owner and builder?
Owner, builder, I do everything.
Okay. You have a couple R&R guys, or are you doing the R&R as well?
I'm doing the R&R too.
Okay. Well, I think that helps. And in a sense, when things go wrong, right? It's easy for you to take it back out than pay someone to. My biggest hurdle was when I didn't do it right or something went wrong, and then I got to pay them to take it back out. It was like, oh no. And I'm already in the middle of the next one, and I got to stop the presses. And it's like, dude, I just couldn't. I slowly started pulling back and just doing specialized ones like performance transmissions, or I'll just stick to hot rods or something that it's not I got to have it out of here in 3 days, right?
Right.
I mean, it's so tough. But for what's your biggest, I guess, pull right now? Are you doing a lot of the older stuff? Are you getting into like the 10R80s, the 6R140s? Are you staying with that, or?
I do a lot of Dodge diesels, 68s and 48s.
Okay, that makes sense.
I haven't really got into a lot of the 10 speeds yet, and I don't know if I really want to. Yeah,
that's fair. It's really hard. I mean, there's so many learning curves. I mean, just on the 68 RFEs alone, right? I can't even buy a remanufactured one. So when they come in, it's like you don't really have a choice but to go through it. But then everybody wants it bulletproofed, right?
Right. And you can't bulletproof stupidity.
That's a fair point. Yeah, bad engineering cannot be. I'm not re-engineering the wheel here,
Right. I mean, you get these kids in there with these diesels, and they just beat the hell out of them, and they expect you to warranty them.
Yeah. Comes back with a 48. Comes back with a broken input shaft or something. And it's like, what? That's not on me. I can't. That's nothing to do with the way I put the thing together,
Right. They're just out beating the hell out of it, saying, "Oh, well, it has a warranty, so they'll fix it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially for you, because that's your whole day. Then, like, it's not like you have a staff where you say, "Okay, you guys go and rip it back out," and it's like that's back on your plate.
Right.
You're pulling it back out. You're going back through it, and I mean, that's not a quick or easy job to do. How do you feel about like the build? I mean, we have a technician shortage, right? It's like the biggest thing. It's hard to find auto technicians. It's hard to find people who want to work on cars. But then we're talking about transmission rebuilders.
It's a dying breed.
It's dying, right? I mean, are you looking for a builder? Have you gone out looking or seeing if you have anybody coming in to ask if they can build for you?
I know a couple guys that I was thinking about having, hiring, but they either want too much money or, they don't have the skills.
And talk about a tough thing to try to teach.
The young kids, they just don't want to do it. Everybody wants to be on their phone and, just look at their phone and not actually learn the power flow, what makes it do this, what makes it do that.
Yeah. Yeah, even to find someone to show up and tear it down. Have you gotten a lot of like interest in wanting it though? Like a lot of like, I want to learn how to do automatic trans. Like I want to learn how to build it. No,
not no more.
Okay, that's sad. I feel like I have a lot of guys come through, and it's really piques their interest. But then it comes down to, like you just said, well, I need you to learn how this thing works. Oh man, that's a lot of work. What? You got to learn. You got to learn, like you said, the power flow. You got to learn how all this stuff operates. So when you have an issue, you're not just like blindly tearing back into it. Or it's like, oh, we can just pull the valve body and fix this issue. We don't need to go back into the unit, you know?
Right.
And I think that for me growing up in kind of this with the transmissions, it was like when something went wrong, it's like you just pull it back out and put it on the bench, right? And it's like I feel like I've learned over the years, like, well, if you learn a little more about how the thing works, sometimes it's not in the trans. It's usually something in like the power flow and the valve body, right?
Or such even like a bad speed sensor.
Oh, what's that?
Even like a bad speed sensor.
Right, yeah. And it's like you pulled this back out and tore it apart because of a $15 sensor that takes 30 seconds to replace it. Yeah. And learning that stuff. And like we started the whole conversation, like everyone tries to stay away from transmissions, and you probably get this a lot too in your area, where if it has a PO 700 anything, it probably comes to you, right? Like, I don't know. It said transmission. I don't want anything to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people like that. And it's like, well, dive into it. There's so many other things that can cause a transmission to fail besides the transmission.
Absolutely.
Like the 604s in the caravans, like you at a dead stop and the speedometer is moving all over the place. It's a bad alternator. A lot of people, they're like, oh, it needs a transmission. No, it needs an alternator. And
how common practice is that at, like, say, the dealer or the manufacturer or the dealership, right? When it comes in, it's got any sort of shift problem. It's like they're just throwing a transmission in it.
That's what all of them do anymore.
Right. Yeah. No more high level diagnostics. And I feel like, and how has your shop been kind of getting into, I don't know if I call it the new era, but as you get these more complicated issues, you start to get more into engine repair, because that is the root cause of whether it failed or whether that's the complaint, right? Like, how many times you heard, oh, my transmission's slipping and it's a misfire, right?
Right. I mean, if it's a simple like plugs or something, I'll do something like that, but I don't get into motors. That's the hard part for me.
Okay. How do you draw that line? Like when it comes in and wants like, well, I want this fixed. It's been to 3 other shops and everyone's told me it's the transmission, and it come to find out it's an ignition coil is failing. I mean, you would probably take that on, but what if it was like a head gasket? Do you just get your diag and then send it back out to a shop to do that, or how does that work for you?
I would send it out to a shop that I trust.
Okay.
And just tell them what's going on and tell the customer, hey, this isn't what I do. It's not my forte, but this guy here, that's what he does. And then just go from there.
So you really, really, really try to just stay as transmission oriented as possible.
Yes.
You just want to be on the bench building.
Yes.
Okay. That's also kind of a dying breed, I feel like.
Yeah, I go to the seminar every year, the ATRA seminar in Coeur d'Alene, and I'm 45, and I'm still one of the younger guys. There's no younger guys getting into this.
Yeah. And that's hard for me because it's like I'm part of that trend of like pulling back out of it, of like, okay, I'll build the ones that make sense, but you really start running the numbers financially, and it's like just such a difficult situation to have. You say 3 R&R guys, 3 techs out there waiting on me to build a unit, and meanwhile I can't get out of the office,
right.
Or the parts don't come in right. I mean, how's the parts situation been for you to get like rebuild kits and torque converters, and like it's a nightmare here. I can't get any of this stuff.
My kits and everything, I haven't really had that much of a problem on. It's more like hard parts, bushing, stuff like that, solenoids. There was a shortage of bands for a little bit, but I called another supplier and they're like, oh yeah, how many do you want? And I don't know if it's like, are the manufacturers holding on to the parts and only certain companies are getting them or whatnot?
Yeah, everything's changing as far as, and then you got Rostra that's like made big changes with their solenoid design, and of course you got all the aftermarkets that are trying to feed into the problems. I'm sure, Sonics and Transgo, right? Always trying to come up with new products that like fix these broken wheels. Like you said, you can't fix the stupid. It's like, you can throw a lot of money at it though,
Right. One thing that gets me is the stages. How people say stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
Yeah.
And it that makes no sense. It's more of a marketing ploy than anything.
Yep. Yeah, I've it's hard to even sell what you're going to do to it without marketing it that way, because it's such a well-known term, though, right? But It's like, what is stage 1? Like, what are you talking about? What's stage 2? And then the ratings. Like, how are you rating this thing for 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower? All that stuff is like, I never understood it. And I've thrown some pretty decent parts in some different units, and it's like, and it still breaks for whatever reason.
Right.
You run it out of fluid, it's still not going to last, So, yeah, I've never understood how they do that. Or with the shift kits. I think back in the 70s, that was a big thing, like a shift kit. And it's like, I always make sure when someone comes in now, it's like, no, this is a shift correction package, right? So it's not a performance add-on. It's just fixing the stupid stuff that they didn't get right, changing some hydraulic flows and making it so it should last a little longer. And whatever issue it failed for this time, it won't fail for again. So you look at a 4L60 is like, how many products do you have to put in that thing to make it reliable? You know what I mean?
Right.
But then it's like it's supposed to be the worst transmission out there, but I think it was the most engineered or manufactured one there was too, right? So yeah, the small percentage of those that fail is a huge number because there were so many that were put in freaking everything. So it's like, I don't know.
Right, and the 60 got a bad name from the 700. Like, I remember old guys telling me they'd throw the 700 away and put a 350 in their truck.
Right.
That whole TV setup. They just hated that TV setup, and once that failed, it just ate the unit up.
Yeah, similar to the AODs,
Right.
Everyone thinks it's a passing cable. Like, yeah, you're laughing because I ain't no damn passing cable. That's don't mess with that, right? It's like, and I think that was the biggest failure I've seen too. Is like on the 700, is like, I don't know, I just couldn't get my passing gear to work. What are you talking about? Well, I tightened that cable all the way, and now it's shifting really funny. Like, oh no. And like you said, I just put a 350 in it because I was so sick of that 700. Like, dude, it's not a bad unit if you take the time to learn it. And I think that's like moved on into the generation of no more dipsticks, right? Because there's too many dipsticks that were messing with these earlier units, Like people just can keep their hands off them, messing with them. Like, what do you don't touch it if you don't know what you're doing,
Right.
And now we don't get a dipstick anymore.
Yeah, that frustrates the hell out of me because you fill it up through the pan, and if it drips, it's full. If it doesn't drip, it's not full. Give me a dipstick. I want to know how much oil's in that thing.
Yeah, and so just as well that the fluid foams and it changes, and as the heat it rises and expands, and yeah, I've never understood that fill till it leaks back out. I'm not confident in those, and there's no other way, unless you measure it and put it back in. I've had clients come back in because it's, a half a quart too tall, right? You fill it up when it's cold, and they go drive it over, the grade, and they come back and it's like, oh, I checked it, and it's like way over the max. It's like, yeah, but now the manufacturers are making it to full to where it spills out. So it's like, how would you even know the difference? And it's like, is that really damaging anything when you overfill it like that? I don't think so.
On the 6Ts and the 6Fs, I guess it creates a lot of havoc on them if they're overfull.
Yeah. I've never seen it. We've probably all seen them puke out of the vent,
Right.
It looks like it's going to burn the damn thing to the ground, especially on the old E4ODs, when they would overfill and they would start puking everywhere and blow the front seal out and all that fun stuff. It's like,
especially the motor homes, they just keep going, goes right on the exhaust, and you got a big fire. And
yeah. They don't stop till someone's like screaming at them on the freeway, like, your rig is on fire.
Yeah, we had one of those happen a few years ago at another shop before I started my own thing. And the same thing happened. It was burping out, and they were on the freeway, and people were yelling at them. And they pulled over and got the fire out, and had to pull all the exhaust brackets off and shields and clean everything. And it's just a big mess.
Nightmare. Yeah. Nothing you can really do to avoid it. That was like the nature of those beasts.
Right.
Unless you go through the pump and you drill out the drain back, and you do all the the upgrades. I don't know what to call them upgrades, just corrections, you know. And I think it's the difference between someone like rebuilding it and rebuilding it. And I'm sure engine builders go through the same thing where, oh, I rebuilt this engine. It's like, you did? What'd you do to it? Oh, I put bearings in and rings and a new head gaskets. Is like, what? You didn't build it? And it's like the same with transmissions, right? You get these backyard builders that are going through them, throwing frictions and rubbers at them. It's like leaving all the same thrust washers, leaving all the same bushings. Oh, I build transmissions. Like, you do? What did you do? Any of the upgrades that it needs? And it's like the cost, right? So then someone comes in and they think that's the standard. Like it should be X amount because that's what it got. What it was charged last time. It's like, well, you're here now because last time didn't last.
Right. You know, like bushings. Bushings. I mean, that's a very critical wear area.
Yep.
And you have to replace them. Like all my units, they all get a full bushing kit.
Yeah, and why would you not? You're that deep. And Durabond, right. You probably use Durabond, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's such an awesome bushing, and it's like it reduces the drag, rotational. You know, do you get into like you have a lathe and you get in all the custom stuff too?
No, I don't have a lathe.
Okay, I don't either. Yeah, it's one thing because you get into like the 4L80s and you can go like fully rollerize them and machine all the drums, add Torringtons to them, and it's like the next level, but. How do you charge that to a client that has like, you know, a 2003 GMC 2500 that he uses for work? It's like, are you going to build him that unit? It's like the amount of, it's like, it's such an expensive unit to go through, but you know, in the back of your head, like that's the way to make this thing last. But then you're also dealing with like trying to justify your cost all the time with like monster transmission, right? Like you don't want that, but it's like, that's what they do. They go online and they see this price and it's like, oh man, why are you charging me $4,000 to build this when I can get it shipped to my door for 2,500? It's like, well, you want to do it twice? Cause that's what it's going to, that's right. What it's going to be, you know? How do you navigate that when someone comes in and they're just trying to justify your price based on what they find online?
You know, I'll tell them, you know, look at the reviews and the biggest thing too is I tell them who's going to warranty it when it fails.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's when you get like almost a deer in the headlights look because they think they'll just, it breaks. They'll send it in. They'll get a new one and off to the races they go.
Yeah.
But in all reality, they're going to send it in. So they're going to have to pay for shipping. They're going to deny the warranty. They're going to say, oh, you installed this or you didn't flush the cooler. And then you're out all that money and you don't even have a transmission because they have it. They're, you know, holding it hostage.
Yep.
And, you know, and then at that point, you have to pay all this money just to get your stuff back. And then is it going to last again or is it going to fail in so many miles?
Right.
And I tell everybody, you know, keep your money local, you know, so if there is a problem, you can come right here to me and, you know, I can take care of it or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, and also to keep you doing what you do, because sooner rather than later, it's not even going to be an option anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With the industry where it's at and how these transmissions has just become so easy to get the remanufactured one, get the car back on the road. There just isn't this big calling to have builders. And it's like, it really is. It's just kind of sad. And it's the same thing with engines. I mean, to get an engine rebuilt in my area, it's a 10 to 12 month wait. I mean, I don't have anybody around that can build an engine in 6 months. And you can send it down the street and have it done in 2 weeks, 10 years ago, you know, you guys ready to do it, but they're so backlogged because they don't have anybody that wants to do it. They won't show up, whatever the issue is with their employees. So it's just them doing all the work. And it's like, it's so hard to find people that are talented enough to build it right, make it last. So.
No, everybody wants that quick money. They don't want to, you know, nobody has pride in it. And what they're doing. Yeah. You know, like all my units, I paint all my units so they, you know, they look nice. You know, you're spending all this money. You want something to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, I'll use a $5 can of spray paint just to make a customer happy, you know, because when they pick it up, they're like, wow, that looks nice. That's my transmission. Yes, it is.
Yeah. It just shows a little bit of pride behind what you're doing. Like, this is what I do. And then training, right? So you're going to the ATR seminars, you're staying on top of training. It's like you got to constantly evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't stay behind on that stuff, especially when it comes to the new ones. 10 Rs or 6 Rs is like this new evolution of how many gears they can put into a transmission.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Just, I mean, 6 is plenty. I mean, you don't need 10 speeds.
Right.
Like I have a neighbor, he has a Dodge truck with that ZF 8 speed, and he goes a block and he's already in fifth gear. And it's
Yeah.
like, you don't need to be in fifth gear by the time you just made it a block.
How do you explain how those operate? Because I that's another one I get with clients is a gearbox is a gearbox, and so you take your 1 through 4, 1 through 6, and it's like each individual gears. Do you have a way of explaining to them to make them understand that's like there's not 10 gears in there? How do you process that to somebody to make them understand that?
A lot of it is, I just tell them, it's a lot of it is computer strategy, and just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I try to explain is like if you have an issue in say, excuse me, second gear on like a 4L60, it's like you're probably going to eventually end up with a problem in reverse, right? With the direct drum and all that having issues. So having that correlation, and I tell my service advisor that too sometimes, is like, look, you got to explain to them like just because it's one area of an automatic transit having an issue doesn't mean that's it. It's going to affect other areas because everything's working and multiplying with itself. Right. So it's just something I always try to explain. I always like to ask other guys that are in how they present that information, because it's a difficult one to get someone to understand. Like, look, just because third gear is having an issue doesn't mean like that's the end of it. And like 4L60 is another example. Is like once you lose that fourth gear, you're eventually going to lose third gear. Just a matter of time. Like, because they work, and harm at the same time. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I like the people where they're like, "Oh, can you just fix third gear?"
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like it doesn't work that way, or reverse. Like on a 4L80 reverse is like, well, you're gonna pull this whole thing apart, replace the reverse band, and you just want to put a new one and put it back together. Do you do any sort of repairs like that, or are you just like that's off the table too, right?
Yeah, I don't mess around with that. It bites you in the butt too many times.
Every time.
You try to be, try to be nice, try to help them out, and it just goes sideways.
Yeah. And it's always you try to do the repair or the valve body work or shift solenoid, and then it's a year later. Hey, so I came in and had this thing rebuilt a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
You what now? And of course, you probably remember each and every one of them because you got your hands on every one of them. But at the same time, you're like, hold on a second here. I didn't do that. You got to go back through the report. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I just did this. That's not a rebuild. And I thought you rebuilt it. No. Look at that price. That's not a rebuilt transmission.
So I guess you get the same issues then.
Oh yeah. Like I had a guy, he sent me an email and he's like, he needed a 4L60, what was it, for a 3.5 or something? And I told him, what did I tell him? Like $2,500. And then he's like, well, I have cash. Or at first he said he can't afford it. And then he says, I have cash. Okay, well, my price is $2,500. That's the price. I mean, yes, if you don't have enough, you start saving. And then he comes down to my shop and he's like, oh, I brought that 4L60 for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, I don't know what you told me on price. I don't remember. And I pulled up the email and told him, oh, I can't afford that. Well, what do you want me to do? I mean, I got overhead, I got my business. And I mean, it's weird what customers expect from us anymore.
Yeah. Yep. You probably get the, you know what? I don't care what it costs. Just get it done. And you're like, no. You're going to care what it costs. So I'm going to let you know. And then you let me know if you want to do it for that price.
Right.
And then yep.
I'll tear a unit down and get a price and then call them and tell them, okay, this is what you're looking at. And then they're like, okay. And they're fine with it that way. That way you don't tell somebody, oh, well, you owe me $5,000. They're like, oh my God, I thought it was going to be like 2,500.
Yeah, the expectations are they blow me away too. And another thing with like the tear down, and then like you try to expect everything, but there's always something new. and like with hard parts, get your hand on some hard parts, and then you got to find a good used planetary or a good used whatever you need. Like you're going to install that because there is no other option, and it's like, that's not what I want to do. I want to make sure if it's being replaced, that it's new. But if you can't find it, like, what do you scrap this whole unit now because you need one low reverse planetary and the United States doesn't have any new ones? So it's like, no, you put a good used one in there, right? And you sell them that way. But it's like, that sucks because you're trying to provide the best product you can. But it's like, and then you already have 5 or 6 hours into this damn thing on the tear down and cleanup. It's a tough gig. And then you try to up the price $50 and it's like the whole world's going to come unglued. Like I didn't anticipate this. I don't know. Like, and then you don't know what it's going to look like because it doesn't usually drive when they come in.
Right.
Yeah. To find all the issues that are in it. Yeah.
It's a challenging business.
Yeah.
From the customers to dealing with the transmissions to parts and everything. It's just, it's a challenging business.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially when you're doing everything yourself, for sure.
And then, seeing that group on Facebook, the Brotherhood, that kind of, it's not just, it's, just me having all these problems. It's, everybody all over the country, and they're having the same problems that we're having over here in Spokane, Washington. And I really like that Brotherhood page just for the knowledge, and, you can see what other guys are doing too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And the stuff you learn on it.
Well, it's just like the ATRA seminars, but like all year long,
Mm-hmm.
So like the seminars, I used to go to, and you'd see all the new products coming out. You meet people, see how they do things. And there's a tool, right? But then there's also a way of getting certain components apart without needing that tool. And there's just a lot of stuff and tips and tricks that you learn. And it's so cool to, jump on Facebook, be on this group, and have like leaders of the industry, right? You got Jim Mobley on there. You got, Robert on there. It's like these guys that are one of the leaders of these aftermarket parts. And it's like, hey, I'm having an issue installing this shift package. And it's like, oh, look, you just, flip out. Or, hey, the last couple hundred I've heard didn't have the spring or didn't have that check ball, or let me send you the updated one. It's like, oh my God. Because if you try to look up that stuff online, it's like, you can't find that stuff.
Right.
When it comes to like valve body work, it's like, that stuff's not available online.
And Jim and Robert, those guys, they kick ass on there. And Robert comes up to our seminar every year. So I get to chat with him in person, and he's a great guy.
That's cool.
And it's just, I'm like, I'm just this one man shop in Spokane, Washington, and I'm talking to the industry experts.
Right.
All the cool guys.
Right. Just got to get a jacket from him one of these days.
That'd be cool.
Remember the old Transgo jackets? The little wooden nickels that came in the shift kits?
Uh-huh.
What happened to the wooden nickels? I have like 6. I'm like, oh my God, I was so close, and then they stopped doing it.
Yeah, I think I got 4 or 5 in my box somewhere. I'm not getting rid of them. If it ever comes back, I'm
getting myself a jacket. Well, maybe he'll listen to this and he'll send us a jacket. That'd be cool.
Now, what do you think of like Ratio Tech? What Steve Younger's kid's doing?
I have nothing bad about it. Between that and Superior, it's like seems to be about the same kind of product.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely like some of the little nuances that the Ratio Techs have been putting in.
Yeah,
cool stuff. It's a little I don't know what the word for it is. It's not as like prevalent where like Transgo, it of course makes it more consumer friendly, where you can kind of explain it to your client a little bit more, and they have a way of like making it sellable, right? It's like a shiny box and it says this fixes this and that, where Ratio Tech's like you got to kind of know, like they don't explain it as well. But I think the product in itself is fantastic.
Yeah, I like the little Ratio Tech boxes for all my 4L60s for just everyday drivers.
Yeah.
And they work great.
Yeah. It just encapsulates all those leaky parts,
Mm-hmm.
in the internals. I've really been more of a Sonics guy. I have the little test stand for the vacuum test and the valve bodies. And I usually do a lot of the Sure Cure kits with like the O-ring end plugs, and just all their stuff like just makes sense to me as I'm looking through like flow charts, and I'm like, okay, well, if I have a garden, it's like a garden hose that's been hit with a shotgun, right? Like, let me seal all these little holes everywhere. And I feel like sometimes some of like the superior products where it's just increasing line pressure, like instead of fixing the leak, they're like, let's just give it more flow, you know? So it's like, I mean, I guess it works either way, but I'd rather just like seal everything up, and then that way you can lower your line pressure and not have to like bump line pressure to compensate for the internal leaks.
Right, because I mean, more line pressure, you're going to break more stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, but you're kind of counting on these unmetered leaks on the inside, right? So like the capsules on the 460s that leak on the third gear, and just all the end plugs leak. And so if you're kind of basing increasing line pressure to compensate for those unmetered leaks, yeah, you could boost it too much and then break stuff, or you could do the exact same thing on a different unit and have it work great because it's so worn out that everything's leaking internally. So it's like, I don't know. And then some people have, Superior is garbage. It didn't do anything for me. It's like, it's probably because your shit's like completely worn out.
Right.
You can't, like if you got a massive hole in your garden hose, it doesn't matter how much you open the valve, it's not going to make it to the end of the hose. Like, so I don't know. But on the Ratio Tech stuff, I feel like they got a good combination of like solving some of the leaks and then still giving you just a little bit of an upgrade to make it work a little better. Because I've definitely had a few that have come in and you fix all those leaks and all of a sudden it starts slamming and you're like, well, what's going on here? And then you come to find out someone's got a tuner in it and they've increased all their line pressures to try to compensate for lazy shifts. So
yeah, that's a whole nother topic right there, the tuners.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I've seen more units destroyed by tuners and they're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. It does not need to be at max line pressure. No, you don't know what you're doing.
No, I don't even know what I'm doing when it comes to that stuff. People ask me that all the time. Like, nope, I don't want anything to do with it. Because everything shifts like garbage now. Like the 10 speeds and the 8 speed, like they're garbage the way they shift. Like you said, most of them don't even get into fifth or sixth gear. Sometimes 10th is not even used. Like it doesn't even, It's like an eighth gear most of the time. It doesn't even get into 10th gear. And they're like, hey, can you make this thing shift better? Like, no, I can't.
Now, do you do any kind of like the factory programming for like Techums and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten into that. And that's about as far as I want to go on the programming.
Yeah, just the necessary stuff. You've probably dealt with on the 10Rs. Are you having to do shift solenoid strategy? Have you done like valve bodies on those where you change out the solenoids?
I haven't had one in my shop yet.
Okay, I know on the 6 speeds, the 6Rs, they were doing the same thing where you had to put the shift solenoid strategy in, and you would do that, and then it would like wouldn't work. It was garbage. It would like hang up in a second, wouldn't upshift. So you would delete the factory programming and just leave it alone, and then all of a sudden it would work fine. And it was like was it the 6Fs that had the solenoid strategy? If you did like a replacement on it, you had to put that solenoid strategy into the PCM to get it to work. And if you didn't do that, it did not shift at all. And so it seemed like it was very critical on these 6Rs and the 10Rs to do the same thing. But now it's come to find out like, oh, just leave it alone. Just put the valve body in with solenoids and don't even change nothing, and it works. It's like, how does that what? It's like it's a weird thing when it comes to the computer tuning stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and then that little tag you get with the Ford valve bodies, how you look at it sideways and the numbers get wiped off. They're throwing it right in the oil now. Yeah. And I was at my buddy's shop, and he's like, I was going to program something for him, and he's like, well, this is what I got left of the tag. And I'm just like, oh man, what do I do here?
It's funny you said that. I know. Oh my God. I had one in particular where it was it a used one we were putting in? I don't remember what it was. But we installed the trans, and of course somehow there's a miscommunication as far as needing that strategy number, and it's on the valve body, right? But it's on the side cover, so it's not super accessible. But they make that tag on top, and I remember looking down with the flashlight, and I'm like, oh, it's a little dirty. So I went to wipe the dirt off, and all the numbers just wiped right off. I was like, oh no, we got to pull the stupid side cover now. There goes 3 hours of my life. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it was so funny. So it's like I barely make it out. I'm like, oh, and I just reached down to wipe it and just like wipe the numbers right off that tag. Like, how did that? They couldn't etch it in or something?
Yeah, I think they should etch it just so you can wipe it off. And I mean, it would make our lives a lot easier.
You would think so, but again, can't fix stupid. Some of that stuff it just doesn't make any damn sense to me, but you always figure out another way around it, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, we gotta come and adapt to all this stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of adapting, so how did your journey get into with the transmissions?
I was 19 years old. I was cooking at a restaurant, and I asked the boss for a raise. I was making $10 an hour, and I wanted $1 raise, and he said no, and made me mad. So I looked in the newspaper, and when he actually still did that, looked in the newspaper, and seen a mechanics helper at Amco in Santa Rosa, California, and I was like, I could do that, and got hired on with another guy, and they had us paint this whole Amco before we even touched a car. Like the boss would come out, he'd be like, yeah, why don't you paint over here, paint this wall. We'd paint it real quick, bust it out, and he'd come out and he'd be like, wow, that looks really good. And he'd look around, he'd be like, why don't you paint a little bit further down? And we'd paint that real quick, and wow, man, you guys are killing it. Yeah, why don't you just paint a little further down? And then, 2 weeks later, then we finally got to touch a car. And I know why he did it now that I'm older, because if you can't take the time to paint something, how can you work on a transmission?
Yeah. Take a little pride in what you're doing. Or maybe he was just trying to get his building painted for probably $15 an hour.
I think I was making like $12, $13 an hour then.
Yeah. That's a cheap paint job for him for sure.
And I started seeing what the guys were doing. I'm like, well, I want to do that. Pull them out, put them in. And he's like, all right, and figured that out. And okay, well, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. And just kept busting my ass. And
so how did that evolution work out? Did you started on the line as far as just R&R?
R&R services, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then every once in a while, get to tear down something. And then, excuse me. And like back in those days, you could, if you didn't like where you were working, call the shop down the road. Hey, I need a job. Okay, bring your tools over. And, you just go to a different shop if you didn't like where you were, and just learn from, try to learn from as much as I could from everybody that I worked with. So
was a lot of the time spent at the Amco, or did you kind of bounce around for a lot?
I bounced around for a couple years.
Okay.
And then it really got serious for me when I started at another shop, NorCal Transmission in Santa Rosa. And he kind of, just showed me the right way of doing everything, and getting me into the seminars and just learning.
So the pivotal kind of like turning point was getting more technical with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember one of the first ones I honestly don't know how some of the early ones I've put, I don't even call it a build. I reassembled some the very early transmissions that I reassembled. I still don't understand how those things worked. I like, as far as like, I can't believe it went into a vehicle and left and like didn't come back. It's like, because I had no business being on the bench doing that, right? And I'm kind of had similar upbringing where it was like, hey, I just want to do that. I can do that. Sure, here you go. Here's here it is. Here's the bench. It's like, as long as you got no leftover parts, it should be fine. I was like, okay. And it's like, right. The internet wasn't a big thing, so we the old ASTG manual, and you're just kind of flipping it page by page, and just reading and doing it exactly the way it is like, oh my god, those books are great reference, but there's a lot of stuff that they're missing, right? So right, yeah, I just remember the first couple ones putting together, and I still to this day think about like, how did I even pull that off?
Yeah, I fully understand what you mean by that. I've back in some of my earlier days, it was like, man, how did that work? And I just blame it on luck.
Yeah. And like the amount of problems you've probably come across now. And it's like, how come I feel like I never had those problems when I first started? Like either I like ignored them or didn't think about it, but it's like, I do everything as like meticulous as possible now. And I actually do the research, and I still have these issues. These freaking things leak. Like, what the hell's with all the front covers leaking and the front seals leaking? It's like, I don't feel like I ever had that issue 10, 15 years ago. You put it in, it would take off, and it's like, come back in a year. Oh, everything looks good. Cool. It's like now you gotta get. I don't know. It's such a strange thing, but maybe it's
Well, I
just the
think the
parts are
parts
crap
were.
now. What's that?
I think the parts were a lot better back then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, just it seems like anything anymore is just going downhill.
yeah, yeah. The rubber and I don't know. I mean, you probably see all the stuff on Amazon now, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can get the same part from Amazon, and it comes and it's got a TransStar freaking receipt in the box, and you're like,
Uh-huh.
what? And you look at the price, and it's like twice as much on your TransStar from your account versus off of Amazon. You're like, what? And it's the same exact box, but is it the same part? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, that kind of I'm kind of iffy on that too, because you look at some of this stuff and like there's some of the names on like Amazon. You're like, what company is this? And and then you whatever it is, you get it, and it comes in a TransStar box.
yeah, yep, with a little TransStar receipt too.
Uh huh. And you tell your sales guy about it. You're like, hey, dude, I got it's this much on Amazon. He's like, I can't do anything about that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we talk about TransStar for a long time. Is too busy trying to sell Vanilla Ice and their AC compressors.
Oh yeah, that's the greatest idea.
Why are you selling AC compressors? Like, is there something we should know? And it's like, I'm sure a lot of transmission shops are like, do I buy an AC machine now? Is that like the new what I need to do?
Well, the one up here, they don't have. They're trying to push all this AC stuff, but they have none there.
I mean, they don't even have the parts there.
I mean, you need any AC stuff, you call O'Reilly's or whatnot, and that's where you get your AC parts. You don't call O'Reilly's for transmission parts.
Right. It's weird. It's even stranger that they got Ice Baby trying to promote it.
Right.
You see Vanilla Ice on the website. It's like, I get it, but oh my god, that is I don't know. It was the best or the worst marketing ploy I've ever seen. Use Vanilla Ice to sell an AC compressor.
I don't know. I think they should just stick to what they know and just transmission stuff.
Yeah, and get really good with that. Maybe, yeah, that'd be nice.
And maybe stick with or get some kind of quality control.
Yeah.
I just got a used pump from them the other day, and I've learned my lesson, and I pull all my pumps and everything apart from the TransStar, or even when I'm just just building a unit, I pull all the valves out, and there was metal all through this thing. I mean, it was a suicide mission right from the start.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen them too with the little cleaning beads. Are you close to East Fork?
East Fork.
East Fork transmission parts. I know they're up there next in Washington somewhere.
I think he's on the other side of the state.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't used him. I use Jerry over at Perfection in Portland.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think I've used him before.
He has some pretty nice parts, and he has pretty good prices.
Okay. Yeah, occasionally use East Fork when it comes to like used stuff, but they put all their stuff in a bead blaster, and I've found like the little beads stuck in like passages. So yeah, I've definitely I've been burnt on that one before. I'm like, what? And you look in there and it's plugged up with one of the little white, beads. Like, so yeah, you got to pull them apart and clean them up. Just because it's used doesn't mean anybody is even looking at it. You just pull this out you just pull this out, throw it in the washer, then put it in a bag, huh? All right, cool. I'll take care of it then.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what we have to do anymore. It's just, I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Like valve bodies on just any of my builds, I pull every valve out and wash the valve body, in the parts washer after that. And
absolutely.
The stuff you get out of there, it's like none other.
Right.
I see guys, they'll just take the solvent, rush it through solvent and blow it off. Oh yeah, that's clean. No valves are sticking.
That's how I was taught.
That's how I was taught too.
With a little pick, and you get a little pick, and you just spring every valve. Like, oh, they're all moving. We're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I take them out, buddy brush them, clean them, hone them, and then vacuum test them. All right, now we're good. Yep. Yeah. I mean, this is a Turbo 350 then. But then it's only like 3 valves anyway, so it's like, how much time are you really going to spend like pulling? Just do it. Just clean it.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying for it.
It's a pain in the butt, but I think you build a lot better of a unit if you do it that way.
Well, that and you have a much better chance of it actually working. Like,
right.
I mean, how many times in your early years when you did something like that and had maybe the senior guy do it, and then you put it in and you got some sort of weird a sticky governor, right? And it's like, oh, let's just rattle the governor. He's throwing it in park going down there. It was like, oh, we got to pull the valve body. We got a sticky valve. I was like, you didn't clean all this stuff like when you had it on the bench. Now I got to stand underneath. I hate pulling valve bodies. I freaking hate it. Like, right? Like it's like the most miserable Chinese torturous thing I've ever dealt with. It's like fluid dripping all over your face, all over my beard. It's like, this is awful.
Or what about going down your arm? You know, you're holding your arm going, it's going down. You're like, please, stop. And they're always hotter than hell.
Right. Because you got to get it out that day, and you just drove it up and down the highway. Like, oh, it's got no lockup, or it's got a delay, or whatever. It's like, oh, it's probably got a sticky valve. It's like, oh, why didn't you just clean it and do it the first time? I even got to the point where I just started replacing valve bodies. There was a couple of years back when I was going through a lot of them, and it was like almost like, oh, I can get a new valve body for like $150, or I can spend the time to pull it apart and clean everything. I was just like, nope, new valve body, depending what the unit was. But it was like a time where it was like, I just would order a valve body with the overhaul kit, like just replace it, especially if it was like catastrophically bad, like got really hot or a lot of metal. It's like not even worth going through it. Like I'm not even going to deal with it.
Right. That's like the old A4LDs pulling those valve bodies apart.
Exactly. Yeah. Or the 5R55s, like some of those valves, just you couldn't get them out. Like just replace it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. I had a Toyota, an A340 is the same thing. It was like, I'm going through it, and I could not get one of the end plugs out. And it was one of the planetaries blew up. So it was metal everywhere. I'm like, I can't get it. And I'm like fighting this thing for, it's like a day and a half. I was like, got heat on. I got the torch going. I'm like, I'm manufacturing tools to try to get down into the, the passages to pop that plug out. I'm like, what is, and then I'm like, what's this valve body? And I think it was like $120 for a good used valve body. I was like, oh my God, I spent so much time trying to fix this one when I was like, oh yeah, we got those. It was like $120 for a good used one. I was like, oh yeah, just go ahead and send that, please.
And by that point, you're just like, man, I don't care. Just send me one.
Oh yeah, if it was $500, I was like, it can't be more. I was thinking, it can't be more than $500 for a new one. Let me just call and see. But it's a Toyota A340. So you're like, I don't know. You know how many changes they made to those things? It's like, there's no way they're gonna have the one I need. It's like so many different casting numbers. It's like, let me just call and see. $500. I think I'm gonna do that. And it's like 120. Like, oh, I should have just called.
And a lot of times too. Sometimes the dealers have good prices on valve bodies, brand new. Yeah,
that's true. You never know. I mean, they got a lot of them in stock, like the Techums for the 6Ls, the Subaru. The 690s, the TR 690. Is that right?
Yeah, that CVT where the
CVT one where the solenoid fails and you have to replace the whole freaking valve body because they didn't make individual solenoids for it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They should have some kind of replacement parts for that if it's that common of an issue.
Right. But you've probably seen the ones on Amazon or whatever. It's like you can get the individual solenoid. It's like, I'm not even going to, you got to solder it, desolder it, and resolder the new solenoid on. It's like, then you call the Subaru dealer and it's like in stock for $800. It's like, yeah, I'll just replace the whole valve body. Yeah. I'm not gonna play around with trying to resolder a new solenoid on. I mean, just another terrible design. Why did you solder all your solenoids onto one circuit board? I don't know. Bad engineering.
I think if the engineers had to work on this stuff, it would be a lot different.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Well, there's so many regulations and mandates that they're trying to meet, when it comes, it's like the 10-speed. The only reason why they have the 10-speed is so they could drop their mile per gallon 2 miles. Like,
right.
You re-engineered an entire transmission just so you could save 2 to 5 miles of the gallon. But the tax break they got on that for their fleet fuel economy was like probably in the millions. So it's like, yeah, I guess it does make sense when you look at it that way. But it's still a pain in the ass for the rest of us that are trying to fix the stupid things.
Right. Yeah, they're not making it easy for us anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's not their goal anymore. That's definitely out the window.
Yeah.
How do I save the most money on building these million cars,
Yep. It all comes back to money.
Yeah, follow the money. So moving on from you starting out at AMCO and kind of working through, what was the leap for you not sticking it out at a shop and building and wanting to open your own place?
Well, I went to the seminar, the Las Vegas seminar, and it was a place here in town that we all went, and we got fired on a city bus at 2:00 in the morning. And I kind of just lost respect for the boss guy. And I was like, why am I making him all this money when I could do it myself? And that's when I was doing a bunch of side work out of my shop at home. And I was like, well, I don't need to do it here. I can do it for myself and work for myself.
Okay. So you had kind of a little clientele, your base you were building up.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the 2 a.m.? Was it a text message? You text everybody and said you guys are done, or?
No, we're in Las Vegas, at the seminar, and I think we're on Fremont Street having a fun time, drinking, just, hanging out. And then we all got on the bus, and he started, just talking bad to us, me and the other builder, and fired us right there. And we almost got in a big fight on the city bus in Las Vegas. And me and the other builder, my coworker, we just said, we'll just get off the bus. And we didn't realize we were like 2.5 miles from the motel. So we had to walk 2.5 miles, to get back to our motel. And, after that, it was just like, you're going to fire us like that. And
that's quite an exit. So that was in person. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, we're drinking and, having fun, but you don't fire your guys like that.
Yeah. That's, sounds like maybe there was some other issues maybe going on beyond just the one trip, maybe, or was that kind of just totally out of the blue?
He's real hot-headed. Some people call it short guy syndrome.
Okay,
but he's the kind of guy that if it's not his idea, it's not a good idea. And I see. I mean, I learned a bunch of stuff from him, but he's just don't be a dick, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's a great point to bring up, because that's kind of like the problem with the industry right now is bad owners. I mean, ultimately, and it's not really bad owners, but just being a bad leader, right?
Right.
I mean, and it's hard because I think in the transmission, especially field, it's such a small cluster of people that I think a lot of us were brought up in that mentality and think that's normal. And that's how it's supposed to be, and if something doesn't go right, you yell at your guys, and it's like, it's just a different breed of like auto technicians altogether. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and it's like, yeah, we were like brought, and I'm sure there's a lot of other like mechanics out there and auto technicians that were brought in the same way. But I think like as a whole, the bigger percentage of that was bred into the transmission field.
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of transmission like specialty shops where everyone's like, or maybe not now, but back then it was like everyone's okay. Like it's pretty normal in a transmission shop to see like 3-foot extensions getting thrown across the shop. Like it's like, it's a pretty standard operating procedure, I feel like. And it is. It's just, but that really bred like us and our generation growing up now is like trying to like get out of that and say that, well, maybe that wasn't the right way, and like you were kind of felt like your only option now was do it for myself or work for this guy,
Yeah. And I mean, you're not going to talk down to me or anything like that. It's just, I'm not going to stand for it.
Right.
But I mean, like
that was like my mentality too, is like, I'm either going to keep working here or I'm going to do it for myself. And I didn't even really fathom any sort of middle ground. Like, oh, maybe I'll find a good shop that someone respects me at. Like, no, you just assume like this is just how it is. And unless I do it for myself, I'm going to have to keep dealing with people like this.
Right. And owners don't want to pay either.
Right.
They want to make all this money, but they don't want to pay you. And, I mean, because if you think about it, the technician, that's who's making the owners the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a guy that can do a 10-hour job, say he can do it in 7, the owner's making that extra 3 hours.
Yeah.
And if somebody's making you the money like that, reward them. Be nice to them.
Mm-hmm. And that's like moves into ownership and leadership and being able to obviously attract that talent that can do that job like that. And then you have the technicians that come in that want that pay, that want that, hey, why don't I get $100,000 a year? It's like, well, because every job I give you, you're taking the full 7 hours, you're taking 8 hours, you're taking 9 hours, And then on the client side, you have to make sure that your prices aren't just being inflated because your technician's dragging ass, And
Right.
so, yeah, but yeah, when you finally find the guy that's doing the work, like you got to be able to very quickly adapt to that and say, hey, look, I'm going to be able to afford to pay this to, pay you this because you're producing this kind of work. And it's a lot. I mean, it's constantly trying to learn and evolve and like with the different people and having a price that's justifiable to your area and then also to the work that you provide without like, well, I'll pay my guy $50 an hour, but he's taking 10 hours consistently on a 7-hour job. Probably not going to last, Like,
Right. No, you got to be able to, beat the book time. And most of the time, the book time is, it's like, you get this much hours for this?
yeah. Yep. When it comes to like being transmission specialist, do you do book time when it comes to like R&R and trans services, or how do you have that set up? If someone comes in,
Trans services, I just have a set price. And then for R&R, it's whatever the book calls for.
okay. Yeah, because that was another thing that changed pretty dramatically. It was like everything that came in, it was 3 hours if it was 2-wheel drive, 4 hours if it was 4-wheel drive for a pull out and then reinstall. It was like standard. But it's like now you look at some of these times and it's like up to 12 hours of an R&R, and it's like, what, 12 hours to pull a transmission?
Right.
But if that's what the book is calling for, then it's like, well, I mean, and I'm not doing it. So it's like, I'm just trying to sell the job and be fair to the technician. I don't know what's coming up. I think the last one I looked at was like a 14 F-250 diesel, with the 6R in it. And it's like, well, I mean, I've never pulled that unit out before, so I got to just agree with what the book says. But then you look at the price given to the client, it's like, holy moly. A lot of money just to pull a trans out to do a rear main seal leak, or pull it out to put a converter in it, or whatever it is. It's like, damn, that's if that's what it calls for, though. And then they say, well, you're the transmission specialist, you should be able to beat book time, no problem. It's like, but we're not a F-250 diesel specialist shop, like like right, I get it. We should be the transmission specialist, but it's like also, hey, it takes what it takes,
But then do we get to charge them more if it takes us longer?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. How hard is that? I mean, we touched on that in the beginning. It's like you try to compensate for everything on a rebuild, and then you need one extra part, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to do it. What do you mean you don't want to do it? It's $80 more.
Right.
Oh, I found one on a Monster and it's 25, and now yours is the same cost. So I'll just buy the one off a Monster. I'll just buy the one on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm not afraid to fire a customer either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, they think, oh, I'm the customer, I can walk all over you. But no, it's not. No, you got to be nice to people.
Yeah, that's true.
And they need to be nice to us too.
Yeah, and it's few and far between, but we really seem to sink our teeth into those negative experiences.
Well, I mean, those negative experiences cost us money.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I'm a business owner. I'm poor.
Yeah. Yep. That's very true too. Rent's still due on the 1st every day. So, every month. So it's like, yeah, you can't just like, well, sorry, this didn't go well for you. And I always have the problem because it's just a vehicle. Like, it's just your vehicle, no reason to get like upset about it. Yeah. It broke your heart because it left you on the side of the road, but there's no reason to get upset right now. No one's like, and it's strange the emotional attachment people have to their vehicle.
Oh, I've had people call me and, oh, how's Winnie? There's no Winnie here. Oh, you got my motorhome. Yeah, we have a motorhome. Yeah, we call it Winnie. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't understand. Naming a car. I mean, I got a white Chevy. That's my truck's name, White Chevy.
That's why.
Because it's a white Chevy. I mean, that's
what it is, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if it was a purple Chevy, I'd be like, oh, your name's Purple Chevy.
That's what it is. Don't even need to know the year.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. I feel like, it's important though to kind of profile the clients a little bit too, though. I mean, if they name their motorhome, they're probably going to take whatever it costs to get it fixed. So you can get the nice stuff. You can take your time. You can make sure, because it's just the worst feeling in the world to like do a teardown like that, and then they don't want to proceed with it. Like, now I got to like I'm already not going to get paid. Now I got to reassemble this unit because you can't just like give them a box of parts. It's like, yeah, it's a tough
Yeah.
gig, man. Have you ever thought about moving into the doing reman swaps? Have you gotten busy enough to say maybe I'll start feeding that into my repertoire, or I'm just stick to building?
On some certain units, I think every unit has, you got to do the job for what they're intending it for. If it's like, say, a landscape company, it's a bunch of young kids just beating the hell out of the trucks because they're not theirs. Yeah, I'll throw a reman in that thing every day, all day long.
Okay.
So that way the warranty's not coming after me for when the kid's out there, like snow plowing.
That's pretty smart.
You see it up here.
Yeah.
Because nobody can come to a complete stop, and it breaks bands. And, you ask them, did you come to a stop? Oh, yeah, I do that every time. Well, here's your band in 3 pieces. No, you don't do it every time.
Right.
And stuff like that, I'd do a reman. But other than that, I'd build it.
Okay.
Unless I can't get parts.
I was just thinking like the 62 TE units. I feel like you just can't keep those in these damn Grand Caravans. Like maybe it's just me or maybe it's just our area, but I feel like those 6 speeds and the Journeys and the Grand Caravans, the front wheel drive units is just like the biggest pile of garbage. Like nothing but problems out of them.
Right. I mean, I've built a few of them and haven't seen them, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But,
okay. So there's no unit that you've seen that's like, in your opinion, kind of unrepairable or like not even worth the headache because it's just going to constantly come back. Kind of like the 5R110s when they first came out for the Fords, the 5 speeds. Right. I feel like those had a pretty bad rap for the beginning until they got some good parts for them.
Yeah, they did. And on those, I just I haven't bought the reamer yet, which I think I'm going to buy the reamer instead of buying a valve body.
Okay.
Because the manual valve, it always wears.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just buy a valve body from Sonics and build a unit and call it good.
Yeah. So you found kind of the issues and then just move past them instead of just like avoiding them.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, because if it's in your shop, you have to fix it.
Right.
And you got to do it, where it's going to make you money and make a happy customer.
Yeah. And then make sure it doesn't come back.
Yeah. And doesn't come back.
What's your warranty process when it comes to the rebuilds?
12.
Okay. Do you have that conversation where like some of the remans come with like that 3-year unlimited mileage warranty? Do you ever go down that path with the client, or you're just like, hey, I'm going to rebuild it, I'll stand behind it, and then obviously you probably stand behind it beyond that as well, right?
Oh yeah. Every unit that comes out of here, it's my name on it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, transmission guys, we have the, they're crooks, they're this, they're that. And I don't want my name associated like that.
Right. Yeah. It's hard, man. And it's like you said, us as auto technicians, we're just liars and cheats and we're just trying to rip everybody off as it is. Right. But then the bottom of the barrel is the transmission guys. Right. Cause like, we're doing the hocus pocus that no one knows anything about, and so like you said, we're really cheats and we're really liars and we're just patching it to make it work, and it's just weird how that stigma, and it's like the more technical you get into the vehicles, and like in my opinion, I've always felt like the transmissions was like the pinnacle of like auto repair, right? Like if you're gonna get into the auto industry and you want to learn the most technical part of it, learn how to rebuild an automatic transmission,
right?
I just feel like that's where it was. And that was always my goal. Like I want to get down, I want to learn the most, and I want to get down to the very bottom.
Right. No, it's kept me interested for the past 25 years, and it still interests me today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool feeling when you get it done and go drive it.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. You drive it, you're like, boom, I made it shift like this.
Yeah.
Or if you see a truck that you built the transmission in, you're like, oh, that's my transmission right there.
Yeah.
You get a sense of pride and just makes you happy. Well, it does for me.
Oh yeah. Until you see him pulling like a 45-foot motorhome behind him. Like, he told me he doesn't tow with that truck.
I had a guy, I did a 4L64 quite a few years ago, and he's showing me all this stuff he tows, and he showed me a picture of him towing this big fire truck. He's like, oh, by the way, what's the warranty? I laughed and I said, there is none. He's all, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you're towing this with a half-ton truck? No, there is no warranty.
You just voided it.
And
It is now null and void. It's like you should have had him send. Hey, oh, that's awesome, man! Send me that picture. Like, okay, now your warranty's void. I got your picture real quick. Like, oh my god, nope, no more. Do you do performance stuff too?
I do some.
Okay. Yeah, the performance is, and it's like never fails. I tell them there's no warranty on this, like, right? And it's like never fails. 2 years later, oh hey, it's got this leak. All right, bring it in. I'll take. And he said, "You I'll take care of it. Like it shouldn't be leaking, but it's like, what have you been doing with this thing? You know?"
Right.
I don't know. It's just like it's a tough gig to try to stand behind the performance stuff too, because like we started the whole conversation with like all the different stages, and then everyone comes in, hey, I was looking online and it's like the stage 3. Could you build something like this? And you look through like the spec sheet of like what they're putting into it. You're like, I don't know how they're justifying that a stage 3, you know, and it's like, but I'll give you all those parts and then some. How about that?
Right.
Like,
I've seen some of the stages and it's like, well, okay, that's standard, that's standard, that's standard, that's standard, that's standard.
Yep.
Oh, they're putting a build input on there. And it's like, and that's why I hate the stages.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think 90% of the time when you look through those spec sheets on the builds, it's like, I put all that stuff in everything. Like that's, like you said, that's just standard. How is that like an upgrade? That's what it's supposed to have. And then he said, then they'll throw something billet in there to say, so it says billet. Like what how does that justify the cost?
Yeah. And then once it says billet, they're like, oh my God, it's unbreakable. No, it still breaks.
I've always said like you sometimes you want to leave something kind of weak, because if you keep pushing that failure point down the line, eventually something's really, really expensive is going to break, you know, like you can break an input shaft. Oh, that's easy. That's not that bad. But you start pushing that, put a billet input, billet forward, billet direct, and then all of a sudden it gets down to, and like, well, if your planetary explodes, you're probably going to wipe your case out. And that's like, now you got to get a case. So I always like with the performance, like when they start talking about billet components, is like you're just pushing the failure point to a more expensive location.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Like, just leave something weak in the middle so it's an easy fix when it breaks.
And none of those performance guys, they don't want to pay. You know, they'll pay 10 grand, 10, 15 grand for their motor. But, you know, you sell them a transmission with all, you know, good parts in there. They're like, oh, that's way too expensive.
Yeah, like $8,000 48 RE. Like, yeah, that's about right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll go to the tuner and spend $1,000 at the tuner too.
Right. And it seems like the hot rod guys don't want to pay, but the diesel kids and the guys with the diesels, they're like, okay, here you go. No problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if we'll ever get it figured out, but
I hope so.
Well, on the final notes here, how's the future of what you do? Are you looking at getting a builder in? Are you looking at moving forward that way, or you want to keep it just a one man band?
I mean, I definitely want some help in here, but I don't know how far I want to expand. I don't know if I just want more of a headache, more of a misery, or just keep it kind of small and just have a decent, comfortable living.
Yeah.
I don't want, you know, like 20 lifts and all that. Cause I mean, that's more rent, more money coming out of your pocket. And, you know, I think I just want maybe like 3 lifts and an R&R guy and a builder.
So you're comfortable with bringing something in to build the units that you are building now?
Yeah.
Okay. That's hard for me to think about. That's a lot of responsibility to be handed off, and it's like, I don't know, but yeah, that's a good vision to have, because it's really hard to wrap my mind around having someone build and being able to trust them what they're doing, you know?
Right. I mean, you fully got to see what they're doing, how they build, you know, because everybody has their own building style,
right?
And you just got to see if it's going to work if it's going to work or if it's not going to work.
Yeah, like I said that the building style, because I don't think I've ever been able to put that to words. I think that's the best way to put it, because it's true. It's just a different style of building. If it works, it works, right? But it's like still, right. You want to put your stamp of approval on it, put your name on it, and know that in 2-3 years when you see it driving down the road, you're not halfway worried about it, being on the side of the road.
Right.
As you're pulling up and seeing that white Chevy, is like, that's not that same white Chevy, is it?
No, it's just, because everybody has their own way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you can, say, unless it's completely wrong, if their way of doing it is wrong versus the way you do it, because I feel if you have an open mind, you can learn so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I've, tried to keep an open mind on stuff and see how other people do it and be like, wow, okay, that actually does work.
That's a fair point.
Like when I first learned about pulling valve bodies all the way apart, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pull this whole, oh man, that's going to scare the hell out of me. And now it's second nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you said, overcoming and adapting.
And that's what I think that's one of the biggest things on this industry is overcoming and adapting. And like we're talking about the brotherhood, that's another place where you can learn what other people do and if it's working for them, if it's not working, I really like that brotherhood page.
Yeah, information like that and building connections and meeting like individuals, networking. That's bigger than any other textbook or anything else you can find,
Right.
Being able to just talk face to face about the industry, about what we're going through together, about the parts you're doing, about with the building styles that we have, all that stuff. It all helps us grow together, and that's,
right.
It's invaluable. You can't put it into words what it means, but in the field that's dying, as far as transmission rebuilding, we need it more than ever now. And we need to know that guys that are getting into the field now have this resource and are able to find people that are willing to talk to you and like be nice to you and show you a different, maybe better, but just a different way of doing it. And you're like, oh, that makes my job so much easier. Now I don't worry about having to do this part of the build or whatever it ends up being, So
no, we need all the help we can get.
Absolutely.
And helping each other. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you helping me today and jumping on with me. Yeah.
No, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. You're the first guy I've dug in with transmissions.
Oh, okay.
So you're my first episode of like actually diving into a guy that's running a shop that's building and like doing it. So it's cool. It's cool insight. It's good to like knock heads a little bit about it. So
nice. Anytime I'll ever want to do it again, let me know.
I will. Yeah. Well, thanks.
I got all the stuff now. I'm ready.
We figured out the bugs, so we're good now.
Yep.